Hello everyone and good morning. My name is Mama Quach from AWMC and today we'll be interviewing a guest. So before we start, could you please introduce yourself?
I'm Julian Hill. I'm your federal MP in the Australian Parliament who covers here in Dandenong.
Okay, so Julian Hill, you joined the election here.
Well, I love this community, and when I was at school I was always interested in how the world works and how change happens and why some schools get more things than others, why some communities get more things than others.
Okay, so what change are you providing for the greater city of Dandenong?
Well, we've just had a change of government in Australia, so I'm a new member of the Labor government in the Australian Parliament.
And what do they do in the Labor part of the government?
Well, I'll tell you a story, just a little story.
Yep.
So my mum grew up in Australia, and she came from a really poor family. Her family didn't have much money, and she always wanted to be a doctor. She was a long time ago, she was pretty old. And she was told, no, girls can't be doctors, and they couldn't afford to buy the uniforms to send her to a school that did year 12. And so she could never be a doctor, she went on to be a nurse. My dad, on the other hand, he wasn't as clever as mum, but his family were able to get some money and buy the uniforms to go and be a doctor. I always thought that was really unfair, that the smartest kids from families that couldn't afford things couldn't get a good education. And so that's one of the things that Labor's about, is making sure that everyone gets a fair chance at life, no matter where they're born, whether they're born rich, whether they're born poor, wherever they're born in the country, that everyone, I think you're in grade 6? Yep. That everyone gets a fair go at life and can fulfil their potential and their dreams.
So what's the challenge with the multicultural media and stuff like that?
Well, Dandenong, where we live, is the most multicultural place in Australia.
Yep.
There's people from more than 150 countries every day. If you walk up and down the street, exactly, speaking 200 languages, 100 different religions. I know the school you're at, I've visited it.
Yeah.
There's people from everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic because you get to make friends and you learn about different cultures and different foods and different places people came from. It can be a bit tricky though sometimes because some people prefer to talk in their own languages, so it's a bit confusing when everyone wants to talk to the government in 200 different languages. But overall we're a pretty amazing place and do great things.
Okay, so our next set of questions about the AWMC.
Yeah.
So how did you find out about the AWMC?
Well, I found out about the AWMC because they pop up at all these community events that I go to. And Hussein, who's teaching us to do this, Hussein is a really generous person who helps so many people in the community, teaches them these skills like he's been doing for you and some of your friends, and also goes to community events and makes sure that multicultural communities have positive stories told about them. Because sometimes I think in the mainstream media it can be too negative. The main TV and the main newspapers, they can be really negative. So I thought it was a terrific thing that there's an organisation like this that's dedicated to helping people from multicultural communities tell their stories as Australians. All Australians, I find, want the same things. They want a better life for their kids. Your parents came here wanting a better life for you through education. And no doubt they're working very hard and they're very determined that you do well at school so you can fulfil your potential. And that's one of the things that I think we talk a lot about difference, and this person came from that country, or this person has this religion, or this person is this ethnicity. We need to remember that actually most people want the same things. They want a good health system that works, they want a safe community, they want a better life for their kids through education, they want to know that they're living in a country where they can fulfil their life's potential, fall in love with someone, marry who they want. I think that's important. We've got to remember that people have more things in common than they have different.
And lastly, do you have any advice for the multicultural?
For people like you, for the multicultural media, my main advice is be really proud. Like, you should be really proud to be an Australian and be able to come and learn these skills in grade 6. Like, that's pretty cool. There's not a lot of people that actually get to work with this equipment and interview. I know I've seen some of your videos. Some of the people you've interviewed are really interesting. So that's my main advice. Be really proud of what you're doing. If you like this, keep doing it. If there's other things you want to do in life, then go and pursue them, but be proud.
Well, thank you, Julian, for being here.
Terrific.
And that's
Terrific.